Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Josh Shez. I just want to say thank you for all those that are posting and sharing these videos. I greatly appreciate it. If you feel like these videos will benefit anyone that you think will benefit from these videos, feel free to share it. Feel free to add your friends to the Eternity group as well as the evangelism page. But we're going to get right into it. The name of this video is 15 Red Flags. We're going to talk about 15 different red flags before, or 15 red flags that you should look for before entering into a relationship. I'm going to do some little preliminary stuff before I get to the 15. The main thing that we ought to look for in an individual is not on how much money they have or what kind of car they drive or what type of whatever. The first thing we should want to aim to find is the content of their heart. What is inside their heart? Because deception is evident when first presented. Anyone can deceive you once they first come into your life. That's why before you consider anybody, you have to ask yourself who sent you. Everything in this world just about is influenced by one of two things, either from good, evil, God, and Satan. There are influences, and these influences will draw people into your life. That's why you have to make sure you find out the content of that person's heart to see, is this person really the one that is being sent by God for me? And you can only do that through time. Time reveals the content of anything, because anybody can play a part for a certain amount of time, but at a certain amount of time, that fakeness will break. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And like I said, time will always reveal what's hidden. Time will always reveal. So the number one thing you want to do is, before you enter anything, is to consider the time. But let's get right into it. God gave me a quote that says, infatuation is blind, not love. I heard the saying like, love is blind. Love is not blind. Love is solid. Love is pure. Love is genuine. Infatuation is blind. If you get so caught up in the initial things of a relationship, that infatuation stage or that cloud nine stage could be that very stage that blinds you from these 15 red flags. And we're going to get right into it. The first one, if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes because I have 15 things and I can't remember all of them in my head. But like I said before in one of my videos, is how you practice in your single life that will determine how you perform in your married life. So if you consider yourself, if you're producing some of these things, you might want to question yourself before you offer yourself to someone else, okay? The first one is 80-20. This used to get on my nerves a lot. It's like everyone always focuses on the 20% that you do wrong, but forget about the 80% of the things you do well. That's a red flag. If a person always, no matter how hard you try to be a great person, if they always remember the 20% that you've done wrong and always never consider or thank you for the 80% of the things you do well, chances are that's a red flag, because out of their hurts, they want to pick out those things that they was hurt by in the past and try to blame you for them. It's just a cycle. They're still practicing hurt and without allowing God to heal them. So if they only remember 20% you do bad, but never consider or thank you for the 80% you do well, that's a red flag. Insecurities is another one. Always look to find where they're insecure at, because usually where they're insecure at is the loophole or the passageway in which Satan can come in and use their insecurities to make you insecure. See, Satan always wants to break the security systems around each and every one of our lives. And the way he does that is through the insecurities of others or the insecurities of ourselves. So before you consider a person, check out to see where they're insecure at. Because some insecurities you can't heal, only God can heal. And maybe they need some more time with God. All three. Number 3 is all three. Can they provide all three for you? See, most people, when women look for men, they get so caught up in, well, he has money. So money can only provide one aspect of you. There's 3 parts of you. There's your physical needs, your emotional needs, and your spiritual needs. Is that man capable of being a priest in your home? Does he know God's word? Is he solid in God's word? Does he have a foundation in God? And does he live it? Just because he can quote scriptures don't mean that he's living it. Ask yourself that. Can he balance your emotional needs? Is he able to sacrifice himself to compensate for your emotional needs at a certain point in time? Is he willing to let go away from the game and talk to you? Does he exude those type of habits that can provide for your emotional needs, and as well as your physical needs? I don't care how much he talks. Does he have action behind what he's saying? Can he provide for you financially? Those are the top 3 things you want to look for before you even consider a man in your life. Not just because, don't just look at can he provide for me physically, but make sure you check the other 2 as well. And women, fellas, make sure that she can provide for you all 3 as well. Can she provide, not necessarily physically as far as money, but is she willing to compensate for that sexual needs that you need? That's physical. Men need that. I'm talking about in context of marriage. Can she provide for you spiritual strength? Can she be that? Is she level with you spiritually, or level with you spiritually as far as helping you through your spiritual journey? Can she help birth those seeds that's inside your heart? And can she compensate for your emotional needs? Is she keen and alert to those things that bother you as a man, or does she talk and backbite and tear you down? Ask yourself, can they provide all 3? Selfishness. Selfishness is the ultimate thing that damages relationships. If that person exudes from there any type of selfishness as like they're always caught up on themselves, they always want to do what they want to do, they never want to sacrifice because they're selfish. Relationships and marriage is based upon selflessness, not selfishness. It's based upon sacrifices, not getting overly consumed about oneself. So if they show any type of selfishness, that doesn't mean that they're not progressing, because what I'm going to talk about is people can be tainted and desiring to get clean, or they can be tainted and want to remain dirty. See, that's a difference. Now, when I talk about these red flags, if they're trying to get better, then yes, I understand that, and they're showing fruit. But watch out for those people that are tainted and unwilling or set in their ways and don't want to get clean. Selfishness. Unhealed scars. Unhealed scars are those people that have those damages from other relationships, those baggages that they didn't allow God to heal. If you see any unhealed scars, or they always paralleling you to how their ex did them, then chances are that's a red flag. The moment you hear any type of inclination of paralleling you to their ex, that's a red flag, because you are not their ex. You are not their past. You are their present, and would love to walk them down the road of future. But if they always bringing up or saying things, well, you just like my ex, or my ex used to do that, that's an unhealed scar. Or what their father or mother did, or what their aunt and uncle did, that's unhealed scars that only God can heal. Lust and addictions. This is evident in most men, and I've come to find out in a lot of women too. But if they have any type of lust, if they're seeming like lust is their guide, if it's almost as if they look at you with a lustful look, if it's always about touchy-feely, if it's always about making out and doing that stuff, their love for you is contaminated by lust due to addictions to pornography, masturbation, foreplay, whatever it is. They haven't allowed God to heal that lust out of them. Love cannot birth without lust being destroyed. If lust is evident, love will deteriorate, or love will overdo lust. Either way, it depends on the individual. And if they're always exuding lust, they always want to get in your pants, they always want to talk nasty on the phone, chances are that's a red flag, because they only want you for lustful reasons or selfish pleasures instead of for who you are as an individual. Priorities. What are their priorities like? Is God number 1? Are they considering family being number 2? Then their call or their career. A lot of men get this imbalance sometimes. They put the work of God the same place as God, and their family comes after the work. God is number 1. If their relationship with God is not solid, if your relationship with God is solid, then God will let you know that family comes before anything. How can you take care of your church if you can't take care of your home? Always check the man or the woman's priorities. Where is she at mentally? Are you number 1 as far as attention and making sure that you're okay after God? Or is she so caught up on her career and her plans and her success? This is what gets on my nerves sometimes, is that many girls and many guys get so caught up in this future career thing that the thing that's the most important, which is their spouse or their significant other to be or whatever, deteriorates because their attention goes so much after their career, their call, and their ministry. What is their priorities? It should be God, family, then your work, ministry, and career. Pride. This is evident in a lot of men. Sometimes we get so prideful in ourselves, or how we this competitive, I'm sorry, my thing going off, but how competitive we are, let me cut this off, how competitive we have been growing up, that competition will build such a pride to where we conquer things. Now our pride for you is you become our trophy wife instead of someone that I love. We conquered you. We did our part in being that man of pride, saying, okay, this is me, this is what I'm about. I got a trophy wife, I got a house, I got a car, I got a great career. Check a person's pride, and women also check her pride. If it's all about her, like all about makeup and hair and nails and gotta look good, gotta shop, gotta do that, check that. Because if their pride is overriding them, then it will override you. Health. This is another red flag. If they don't take care of their body, that's a bad investment. I mean, marriage is an investment. Marriage is like, okay, when I'm getting married to you, I'm investing everything to you. That means I don't got time for you to be so unhealthy that you die, and I'm stuck with the kids, and I'm stuck by myself because you wasn't a good steward over your body. We ought to aim, every single one of us ought to aim to be healthy, to be whole. If we don't want to be healthy, then don't get a relationship, because you're going to die off and leave someone unbalanced in a relationship. Health is a top one. If they don't eat healthy, don't have a healthy work ethic, brainwashed and deceived by all this other stuff, then that's a red flag, because marriage and relationship is an investment. If they die off in 20 years, you stuck with the kids, you stuck without a spouse. I don't want to marry someone with bad health ethics. Neither should you. I know I'm kind of going fast, but it's 15 of them. Money habits. Check how they spend their money. That's a red flag, because once you get in a relationship, you hold. Bank accounts shared, bank accounts joined together, and how they spend your money, how they spend their money can determine how your life will be. So check their money habits. Communication. Can they express how they feel? Sometimes it's real hard for girls. It's hard for them to express how they feel. Communication is key. If I don't know how you feel, how am I supposed to compensate for your feelings? If I don't know how you feel, how am I supposed to take care of what's going on? If they have a hard time, women or men, communicating, that's a red flag. Some of these things you can help them along the path because you love them, but some of the things only God can do. Express how you feel to each other. If you like a person, tell them you like them. If you love a person, tell them you love them. Express how you feel, because if you can't express how you feel and they don't compensate on how you feel, then who's to blame? Because men cannot read in between lines. People cannot read subliminal messages. We cannot read what's in between the lines. There's nothing there. Tell us how you feel. Communicate. Communication is key around the whole board. How do they treat their family? This is another one. If they can't treat how they treat their family is going to how they treat you. If they're the mama's boy, if they're the mama's girl, the baby girl, analyze how they treat their family, because chances are that's how they'll treat you. This should have been number one, but I was writing down a list. Relationship with God. What's the relationship with God like? Is God number one? Do they love God with all their heart? How they love God will determine how they love you. How committed they are to God will determine how committed they are to you. If they're not committed to God, they're not going to be committed to you. If they don't love God wholeheartedly, they're only going to love you partially. Trust me. How often do they read their Bible? How often do they pray? Are they willing to fast? Are they willing to grow spiritually? Is their spiritual life supreme in their life? Is their flesh being led by their spirit, man? This is the key. Because if they don't have no relationship with God, don't marry them. I don't care if they look good. I don't care if they got everything on the list down pat. But if they don't have a relationship with God, chances are that your relationship will fail, because inside of them is still things undealt with that only God can fix. If there's still problems in their heart that only God can fix. Unbalanced emotions. If a person's emotions are not balanced, that's a red flag. If they get easily upset, if they get easily emotional, if they run off and leave you, and if they always breaking up with you, if they always got an excuse on leaving you, that's an unbalanced emotion. That's a red flag, because their unbalances will make you unbalanced. Trust me. And the last one, do they have a backbone? This is a point that I like as well, because do they have a backbone, or do they got your back? That's basically what I'm saying. Relationships is about we fight together. We fight together. If you're not willing to fight with me through thick, if you're willing to fight with me through thick, but can't fight with me through thin, if you're willing to be there when times are high, but want to leave when times are low, I don't want you. That's a red flag. A person that loves you will be with you through thick and through thin. Nothing will separate you from them. Don't care how high the ties get, because they leave you when things are thin now. Guaranteed they will leave you when things get thin in a relationship. They'll go crying to mama. They'll go hide. They'll complain and aggravate you and frustrate you because they don't like to be uncomfortable. Marriage and relationships will be uncomfortable. Will you stick it out? These are 15 different red flags. I know I went through them real quick, but feel free to share. Let's talk about them. If there's more red flags, feel free to comment. But understand this, is that we all are growing in God. Just because a person is maybe have some of these in there, it doesn't mean that they're not getting clean. But the thing is, these are the basics. These are the red flags. Don't allow infatuation to blind you. Let love guide you. Thank you for watching my video. And feel free to share and repost these videos. I appreciate your support. If you feel like this video is helping, feel free to send a message out. Also, check out my website, kingdomattorney.com, my blog, wetalkreal.blogspot.com, and thank you for watching. Be blessed.